Nice. Reload.
How to recognize at least one set of evidence for the electrical sculpting of our planet. It's called arc blast. The arc blast model provides evidence and a means to verify electrical scarring on Earth. It provides insight into the electrodynamic forces at work in the solar system and its coupling with the Earth. Arc flash creates a shock wave, and that is the arc blast. Arc blast occurs because the arc is at temperatures of 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It melts and it ablates and vaporizes matter in its vicinity. Copper conductors vaporize instantaneously, explosively increasing in volume almost 80,000 times. It's the most explosive event imaginable when you can realize there's no limit to how big an arc can get, commensurate with the stored energy and potential difference that creates it. The explosive volumetric expansion creates a shock wave, and that is what kills electricians more often than electrocution. Planetary scale arc blast occurs in the crust and in the atmosphere, where the conductive layers of this big capacitor we call Earth form. It's the same region we see thunderstorms form today and volcanism, from 60,000 feet in the atmosphere to some distance below the crust. It's where the charge accumulates and discharges. The landscape is sculpted not only by the discharge, but by hydrodynamic forces created by the shock event. In a thick, viscous atmosphere like Earth's, this has to be the case. And the evidence is in coherent landforms like these. In particular, the triangular buttresses that are shown here in this coherent landform that was created in a single cataclysmic event. These are the result of supersonic shock, supersonic winds, and electromagnetic effects, all created in a single arc blast event. The colorized simulation of a supersonic projectile passing over water. The image was produced at Los Alamos Laboratories. I've annotated it to show some of its features. The colors represent density, with purple being the background density of the atmosphere, reds show high-density regions, blues show low-density regions. In an arc blast, the projectile is a bolide of plasma in an arc, radiating temperatures 6 times that of the sun, traveling at supersonic speeds. It creates a shock wave with pressures of thousands of psi. In region 1, the bow shock strikes the land, and it's both a blowtorch and an anvil, melting, vaporizing, and ablating the land below it. In region 2 is a reflection of the shock wave. It rebounds from the land, drawing a low pressure zone behind it. The expanding gases from the blast explode into a violent mushroom cloud called a Richmeyer-Meshkov instability. In region 3 is a rooster tail of very low pressure that follows this shock wave. This rooster tail is like the rooster tail behind a speedboat, and it sucks up the molten material from the crater and forms the core of a mountain. In region 4 are standing reflected shock waves. They resonate with the mountain's formation, and they leave distinct marks on the land, like the coherent triangular buttresses I just showed you in the last image. A closer look at region 2 shows the mushroom cloud expands in the reflection of the primary shock wave. It has the inertia of the reflected shock and the violently expanding gases to form an updraft at its core that draws supersonic ground winds from below. They flow in perpendicular to the trajectory of the primary shock wave. This violent updraft begins in the rooster tail, which draws ablated material from the blast zone and redeposits it in the wake. And here's an image of a very simple linear hill that's formed in this manner. But this process can form much more complex and larger shapes. The triangular standing waveforms created by the primary shock wave form plenums for the ground winds, directing their flow like nozzles. A shock wave is an incredible shear zone of pressure, temperature, density, and current. Standing waves don't travel. They stay in place with the energy coursing through them. I like to think of it as an entire tsunami in a pane of glass. In the inflowing winds, the shock waves are like walls of steel.